Hello! Today I'm going to be doing another review. This one is going to be on a contemporary fantasy book. One that I had heard a lot of people talk about on YouTube and I had never heard of before, but I'm glad that I went out and gave it a try. And that is going to be The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. This book is the first book in a trilogy. What is it called? The King Killer, I think. The King Killer. I'm not sure if it's trilogy or cycle or something. But what's interesting, the way this book is set up, is that it is essentially a telling of a story. It centers around Quoth. It's Kvothe, but I believe that the author has said it's supposed to be like Quoth. Who starts out, it's his life story. The novel starts out with him being slightly older, but not old. I think they say maybe late 20s. And he is in an inn and an innkeeper. And then some stuff goes down, and this guy shows up in his inn who's a chronicler of like the history of the land. And the guy kind of recognizes him and then asks him to relate his story. And I'll read you the back because my name is Quoth. I have stolen princesses back from sleeping Baro kings. I burned down the tower of Trebon. I have spent the night with Felurian and left with both my sanity and my life. I was expelled from the university at a younger age than most people are allowed in. I tread paths by moonlight that others fear to speak of during day. I talked to gods, loved women, and written songs that make the minstrels weep. You may have heard of me. So he's sort of like this guy who's larger than life, and he tells the chronicler that it will take 3 days to tell his life story properly. So each book is 1 day of him talking. So this, The Name of the Wind, is the first day, and I believe it starts off by saying day 1 in the very beginning. But yeah, so essentially, Quoth starts out as a kid, and he is like a traveling band of actors with his father and his mother. And he starts to learn about something called sympathy, which is like their magic. But what I find very interesting is that it's not all powerful. There are limits to what you can do. It's very, not scientific, but there's like a method to it, and it's explained very well. And how the checks and balances of it work, that you can't just do whatever. I mean, there are some, like that's why it's called The Name of the Wind. If you know the true name of something, then you can manipulate it, kind of. Or at least that's what you kind of... They don't tell you that outright, but that's kind of what it seems like. But that's not something that people know, generally. Even the people who practice sympathy don't know the names of things, generally. But anyway, it's kind of his life story, his adventure. He ends up, through some stuff happens, and he ends up at the university, which is where people practice to learn sympathy and other things like math, sciences, history, all sorts of stuff. And he's a very precocious child, very smart. Some of the criticisms I've heard is that he's a very arrogant, and he is kind of, but at the same time, it's kind of understandable. He does talk a lot about their stuff that he says he's not good at, or he makes mistakes, and he admits that to himself. And there are things where the older Quoth is talking about, you know, things he wish he would have done differently, because he is looking back. So it kind of is interesting. At the same time, he is very proud, and honestly, from the accomplishments he has a right to be, it seems like. I found it to be kind of entertaining and fun. Sometimes it gets a little old hearing about, like, people who don't have confidence in themselves, and they're kind of like, oh, I don't know if I can do it. It's kind of fun to have someone who's like, you know what, I think I am the best, and I'm going to challenge myself, especially when it is in sort of an academic setting as well. Anyway, I blew through that book. I mean, it's a fat little book. but it's really entertaining. A page turner. I wanted to know what was happened. It feels like a very fully developed world. Um, as far as the university, the different people, the way sympathy works, all of that. It was very good, and I'm really excited to read the second book in that series, which I just bought recently. So I'm excited to get started on that and read it. And the third one isn't out, and I hope that it comes out shortly after I finish the second one, because it'd be nice not to have another Game of Thrones situation on my hands where I'm stuck waiting for like 5 years at a time. Um, so yeah, I would definitely suggest going out and picking it up if you like fantasy stuff. If you like Harry Potter kind of setting, but maybe a more adult Harry Potter. Not that anything super bad happens, but just a more um, adult themed Harry Potter kind of situation. But it's very good. It's very interesting. It would be a fun read. I highly suggest it. All right, as always, good reading and enjoy life. See ya.